and Ethan never felt like he was shying away from the ball. He never feels like that when he plays ever, but like specifically in this game when we needed somebody to do something, he constantly demanding the ball, driving at his man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. This is your host, Deen. It's been a minute. I missed you guys too. Not really. But in any event, I am here once again with my lovely friends. Gabby, how are you?
We got through that, so I'm good.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's the spirit. Coach, how you feeling?
I'm doing good. Go listen to the instant reaction that should be out by the time you listen to this, guys. So.
Well, I mean, we don't know if that's true or false, but if Coach says it, it might be true, and that's all you need. So, so head to YouTube before you listen to this. But yes, we have a lot to talk about, guys, because we haven't had an Arsenal game in a minute. The last time we recorded any sort of material for Arsenal related to, I believe, a 5-1 victory over some team we don't really need to talk about. I want to treat them like they're a big deal anymore because everyone beats them now.
Yeah.
Not Newcastle.
Yeah.
My wish hat trick.
Is that what's going on right now?
Yes, you got a hat trick, baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe has no shame. I'm disgusted. He's the worst. And Coach, before we move on, fuck.
Oh, Jason Tyndall, of course, man.
There we go. All right, but back to the business we're here for today. Since the last time we had a league game, we have lost the remaining 2/3 of our striking trio in Bukayo. Well, we lost Bukayo in December. We lost Gabby Martinelli in the Krakatoa game against Newcastle. Then we went to the place of rejuvenation where you get the sparkly meat from the wanker dude and lost Kai Havertz to the most innocuous training ground injury. And now he's out for the rest of the season. So now we're down to Raheem Sterling. We're going to talk a lot about that. Leandro Trossard and a teenager.
Yeah.
A fucking literal baby. That is Arsenal strike force.
Yeah.
Gabby, I know you're a resident pessimist, but even by your standards.
I am not I am a realist, but go on.
Even by your standards, surely, well, let me not put words in your mouth. What do you think has changed about how we're going to approach the rest of the season? What are your expectations, and what were your expectations for this game in particular?
What do I think has changed? I don't think anything has changed, for Mikel at least. I don't really think he's going to change his game plan that much. Which may come to hinder us later on because the strengths of the starting three are not the strengths of who we have now, other than Ethan. He's kind of like a plug and play. But going forward in the season, you kind of just like. Granted, the only game that I'm obviously worried about is the Chelsea game because we can't play Sterling because of the loan deal. So I'm just wondering what he does that way. But other than that, this is going to be our starting three for the rest of the season. And I'm just kind of trying to figure out how he's going to get Sterling productive. I won't say firing. Productive at all. Like, Ethan, I have no worries about. Even if he has like moments where he has a misstep or something like that, he's still a kid. Fair enough. Trossard is going to find some GA somewhere. One thing about him, he's going to come out with GA. Sterling is the problem. Sterling is the problem, and he's playing on the problem wing. He's playing on the left wing, which is always the problem.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of just want to put Calafiori as a 9 and put Trossard on the left wing. You kind of like can put anyone at the 9 at this point. I feel like most people at the 9 will be able to do something. Look at Merino today. But that left wing is the problem. We need to do something about that left wing because we just can't just keep doing nothing.
It feels like
and Sterling is not the solution. Huh?
It feels like a bit of a vacuum, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I think I agree with all of that, but I think the more I feel as if we saw the actual what should be the first option coach, like moving forward today. Like we didn't start with it, but it's something that we discussed in the chat. I'm sure you probably saw Gabby yourself. You're online quite a bit as well. I'm sure you saw some hypothetical lineups for what people thought Mikel would do in this game. And one of those, the one that I like the most, considering Sterling's form, even though I thought it was right to give Sterling a chance and just go like for like these are our strikers, these are our attacking players, let's play them. I thought the better approach was how we essentially ended the game today with a double 10 type situation that we've seen Kai and Trossard do. We've seen Odegaard and Kai do in the past. Do you have any criticism, Coach, for Arteta not starting with that as opposed to going with the Sterling thing first, with the straight plug and play three striker
No,
thing?
I think there's merit in doing both. But I think it's important to know for yourself, and it's kind of risky doing it in game. I suppose we got away with it today, but it's kind of important for you to prove to yourself, forget everyone, but just prove to yourself as a coach that okay, this is what I I'm hoping happens. But if it doesn't, at least I can say I tried, basically. So he started with Sterling on the left, his best position, clearly. And then Trossard in the false line, who's done well there. And obviously, Nwaneri is just fantastic anyway. So he's done what is the logical thing to do. You've kind of kept the rhythm, you've kept repetition kind of thing. But then as a coach, it comes to a point where you sometimes has to be like, do you know what, let me just cut my losses. I fucked up essentially. This is what it's going to look like. And I have a very, very good feeling because of the fact we're at home as well and the way West Ham play, we're going to just start with Merino up front. Just from the off, because he's not going to try and make it a slog and then try to win it late like he did today. You can't do that 2 weeks in a row. Like it's too much of a risk. So I think he's going to go for it next game. And if we do need to call upon Sterling, hopefully it's under the circumstances of we're giving some players some rest rather than us actually depending on him. So
right. I do think maybe this is just copium, because today's performance was so bad, especially him getting caught offside so often in the first half, that I thought to myself, we're not going to get anything out of this man. But
I wanted to send him down. He's pissing me off so bad. Oh my God.
Yeah. But I did have the thought that, you know what, maybe a guy with his current level of fitness and motivation, and because his body language is also just bad. He looks defeated. He's lost his confidence. I think he might be better against tired fullbacks with 20 minutes left. That's what we're going to need to use him for, because I just don't see him giving us the value you need from a starter. But before we dig deeper into the Sterling issue, because we will shortly, because essentially he will be the focus of our first half discussion, of which there wasn't much to discuss. Gabby, was there anything you liked about the first half? Because I know you were already pissed off that you were up at like 4 a.m. to watch this shit. Then you had to watch that turgid bullshit. So was there anything you liked from what you saw?
Silence is the answer.
I was looking at her thinking,
Silence is the answer.
Is she pondering? Is she pondering or is she...
I thought the screen froze.
Silence is the answer, because I literally, there's not one thing that I liked about that first half. I thought that he needed to make a switch sooner. I said it in the group chat. I was like, this Sterling thing is not working on the outside, and he keeps being offside. Also, Trossard was offside at least 3 times. I was like, they need to swap. You keep trying to make Sterling the creator when he can't be the creator right now. He can't be a facilitator right now. Leaving Ethan on an island is fine because he can be a facilitator and he can link up with Odegaard. But Sterling cannot be on an island. It has to be Trossard. Trossard can create something out of nothing. He might not be able to do it consistently, but they needed to swap. And as the game went on in that first half, I was just like, Trossard is getting either fouled out of the game or he's getting caught offside. And a lot of fouls were coming on Trossard in that first half. And I was like, no, this ain't going to work.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't want to do too much on the ref, but I thought he let Jamie Vardy run the game. 1 and 2, I think he has a problem with Trossard, but we don't need to get too deep into that. Like, Trossard got fouled probably somewhere around 9 times in this game, and he called 1 free kick for him. 1, but that's neither here nor there. We got our points. It's fine. Coach, I'm digging for dregs here. That first half, I want to say, because when you go into a game without your starting attackers and guys come back from Dubai looking as if they're just about to go to Dubai because it was looking real lethargic, I thought to myself, you know what? I did like the counter press. I mean, I know Leicester are fucking shit, but we did keep them penned in for most of that. Is that something we can still give the team credit for? Is that like a bare minimum thing at this stage of our team's development?
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things though, because Leicester did create the best chances of that half, and it's because they were committed and determined to make sure we didn't have anything through the middle at the very least. And whenever we did, try to get things through the middle, they didn't have, like, Vardy versus Gabriel and Saliba is just a mismatch. So their outboard to him wasn't there. So they tried to keep it closer to their goal to try and draw us in a bit. But then, our counter press, like you said, was just really, really good. So I'm not completely like mad at us for, you know, just looking bad. It's just more of a function of we wasn't gonna come out the traps flying today. And the things that we're good at, you know, defending space, you know, counter press, stuff like that, we showed. It's the final bit that's the issue, and you can't really blame the coach for that. If, you know, everything else is working, it's just that. Yeah,
That's fair. Well said, Coach. Gabby, this was another game where we saw Declan Rice, and I guess we're calling the left eight. I'm tired of that descriptor at this point. It's just he's just a midfielder at this point.
Yeah.
You know, we use him in various configurations.
Box to box.
Yeah, he's just our box to box, fill in the gaps, glue guy midfielder at this point. What did you make of the usage today? Because I think in the first half, the few good moments that were not Ethan Nwaneri related that I recall from the first half involved Rice trying to get on the end of something. Do you think that was the right usage for him today?
He did definitely. He was trying to be the late runner into the box a lot, or be the ghost into the box a lot. There was, I think, one of our first attacks. Odegaard tried to put, maybe it wasn't Odegaard, but somebody tried to put the ball into the box, crossed his head, and it just got cleared out. And that happened a few times. He was always in and around, and most of the time when we're playing with Kai, he's not like in the box per se. He'll be around at the top of the box, maybe waiting for a shot, recycling. If he needs to overlap, he'll do that. But this, like today, he was running, like making sure he was like making the run, because Kai wasn't making the run, obviously, because he's injured. But like, I think he was the only one making the runs, genuinely, the only one making the runs. And because he's coming from Deke, he could never be found offside. Yeah. But he's not that fast, so like the ball never really fell to him in the right positions. I understand what Arteta was trying to do. It just didn't come off in this game. Also, we needed to create more for him if we were going to do that game plan.
That's fair. That's fair. I thought we definitely could have gotten some joy out of that today, but I think the last point you made was the most pertinent one. We just didn't create enough through that method of creation. Yeah. Coach, you love Declan Rice. Was there anything? Because we're not going to talk about him much more after this. So if you have something to say about it, say now.
I mean, to be honest, the difference between us and the first half, second half, I think goes for most of our players as well, to be honest. But Declan Rice is he just eats up the ground so well that him ghosting into the box is, we should be abusing the shit out of that, to be honest. We should be spamming it like it's a FIFA glitch. Like, you know, and it didn't come to fruition because they defended their box really well. They defended this, you know, their space in front of them very, very well as well. The 2 6s for them, Ndidi and Samari, were just, they were colossal today, especially in the first like hour of the game. But that method of creation wasn't really going to be our bag only because of how well they doubled up on Nwaneri, and they were still trying to stay in the game at that point. The moment they were trying to go through, obviously, Nwaneri got a lot more space. But there's something interesting that I noticed, though, in a very, very shit first half, I have to say. But Gabriel's passing is so fucking good, guys. Like, I keep saying it like every other week, but it's he found a pass between, honestly, it was like trying to fit it through the eye of a needle, and you're shaped like Peter Griffin. That's how good it was. And he found Sterling in the box, and Sterling stumbled, basically, but it was such a good chance that had he got his feet right, something happens from it. But in that moment, I rewinded it a bit and I looked at how many Leicester players were surrounded, like just there, and it was their whole team, bar Vardy, I believe. That was the game plan. They packed the middle, and we know Arsenal are probably struggling a little bit on the wings. Let's see what they got from there, kind of thing. Highly ironic, famous last words as well. But it was just a game plan. Like it was so clear from what they wanted to do from us. And Gabriel finding that pass lets me know that Arteta isn't completely biased against central progression. He wants the players to pick their moments, you know.
That's well said.
My player of the season.
Yeah, he's just fantastic, man. So good, man.
You know what? Until Kai got hurt, that was my pick. But we can talk about that later in the season. Let's wait till May. Hopefully it's someone else by then, because God, if our player of the season ends up being like Ethan, something wonderful has happened. That's what that means. Before we get to the Jamaican that's been ghosting around this conversation from the beginning, one other person from the first half I want to talk about was our captain, Martin Odegaard. what do you guys, actually, I'll let Gabby take this one. What do you make of his physical level? Because I feel like yes, he's always had these technique issues. I don't want to get into the details, like he weights his passes weird and blah, 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 blah. But how did he look like from a physical standpoint? Do you think he was on it again, or does he still look tired to you?
I'll give the listeners some inside info on Deen. He's an Odegaard hater, so this is the side of the show. This is the part of the show that we hate on Odegaard. But it's all right.
Let me say one thing before you go on, Gabby. There, my @ on Twitter is no new thing. That's my @
I don't know. His physicality didn't look like it dropped too many levels. I mean, I've seen him way worse. Obviously, when he was like sick, like with the flu sick, he looked way worse than this. I just thought that his weight of pass was just bad. I think his passing was sloppy. I think that's what it was. Watching him play, I just felt like he was taking an extra touch. He was thinking a little bit too hard. I don't think it was a physicality thing, though. I don't think he looked like bad wise. I don't know. Every time I watched him especially in that first half, I think he kicked it up a notch in the second half. But the first half was just sloppy passing, take an extra touch that you don't need to take, do a 360 and look around to see what's available to you. And I'm like, can we like up the tempo, like move the ball quicker? And it wasn't just him, it was everybody else, but Odegaard is our orchestrator. Mm-hmm. So it has to start from him. And because he was moving slow, everyone else was moving just as slow, except Ethan. Because Ethan don't give a damn. But everyone was just moving too slow. And I was like, Odegaard, I beg of you, during this team talk at halftime, like, please, I need you to realize your mistake.
Please rise it. All right, let's get to it. I don't want to do this. I don't want this to serve as a digging out section. And we've already kind of talked around this. I do think there's a use for Sterling moving forward. But today was as bad as it's been. Like,
correct.
Up until Girona, I was like, I'm seeing the green shoots of a recovery here. Like, Mikel's going to get something out of this guy. Then I didn't watch the Newcastle Carabao Cup game because I was busy living life and not being a dumbass because we were going to do shit in that game. But apparently he played in that game. And Coach, you watched the game. How was he in that game?
Did I watch that game?
You did, you did it?
Oh no, of course I did. I watched up until just before I think their second goal, I want to say, or maybe something like that. And put it like this: there's the bar is so low for Raheem Sterling that if he gets a good cross into the box, I will put my hands up and say he had a good game. That's how low the bar is. If he beats a man, I'll say he was man. Yeah, literally, if he beats his man, I'll say that he was man in the match. Like, that's just once. That's how bad he's been, and I take no great pleasure in this at all. Like, Sterling is quite literally one of my favorite players in the modern Premier League era. He's just been wonderful and had a wonderful career, and he looks bad. Physically, he doesn't look the level. The body language is fine because he's always kind of been that way, kind of thing. But it's almost like, I don't want to speculate about his mental well-being and stuff like that. But it's almost as if he's almost kind of fed up. That's the way he's playing football right now. Like, it's just, I'm just collecting a check at this point, and I know that's not the case. I genuinely know that's not the case. It's just that's what it's given. And I feel bad for him because he's in a situation where Arsenal are desperate for a title. We're in the headlines every week, kind of thing. And then, so there's no way for him to hide. If he was stinking up at Chelsea, it's just like, it's Chelsea. Chelsea are shit. Well, not shit, but they're not expected to do anything. But he's at a club who have for the past 3 years have been trying to win the Premier League, and he's got all this experience and all of these trophies and stuff like that, and he can't match the level. It just looks bad. Like, you should. This is your environment. Chelsea wasn't your. This is the environment you should be used to. You should be the one telling guys, let's. You should be the one giving out the advice to everybody. Like, you're taking instruction from a man that I've never ever played in a Champions League final or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like, so it just doesn't look good. And I just hope and pray that he can do something. Get us a few goals for the end of the season. I think that'll be wonderful for him. It'll be a wonderful story. The fact that he's been terrible for us, but he can end the season in a positive way. That's all I'm hoping for him, because I don't think we can look at him and say, try and be better than Wanyeri, because not even Messi can do that. So
Yes, that's a wrap. Gabby, you have had the most experience of being disappointed by Jamaican men among the people on this podcast. You don't know what's going on with this man. There's no way for any of us to know, but using your cultural sensitivity, can you speculate about what the fuck is wrong with this nigga, man? Why does he look like Beanie Man out there, man? Like, he looked like Beanie Man during the verses. Beanie Man was actually moving harder than this nigga moved today, man.
Listen, first of all, he's eating a little bit too much yam and banana. You need to slim down just a little bit.
So he needs to cut it.
And two, listen, it's par for the course, not for Raheem Sterling, but this is heritage, okay? Jamaican men never stand up to the occasion. I don't know what to tell you. You've always been like this, and they'll always be like this.
No, I have to stop you guys. I'm sorry, because like all of a sudden he's Jamaican, but when he's bad enough for England, he's English, guys. Like let's not be a mouthpiece for the Daily Mail. Yeah,
not on this podcast and not during History Month. You stop that. But
I don't know what's wrong with him, genuinely. I agree with Coach that his body language, I think, is fine. I think he's always been like that. But it's everything else. It's just like, even when he's trying things, none of them came off. Not even his. In my opinion, his best trait is his dribbling. I think his dribbling is his best trait, getting to the byline or getting into the box. And he didn't do any of that today. Or I shouldn't say he didn't. He couldn't do any of that today. He was locked up by his fullback, by both fullbacks.
Yep.
The one that got hurt and the one that came on.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know what to tell you. It looked really bad. Like, this is the worst we've ever seen him. And the fact that it's coming at a time, I think it's exacerbated the fact that it's coming at a time that all of our starters are hurt. So you're all that we're left with now, and you can't give us anything. And we're getting stuff from our academy players, but we're not getting anything from you. It just looks really bad.
It really does. It's so disappointing because I've been rooting so hard for him, but I haven't lost all hope. But this was very disappointing. There's no two ways about it. I think the most telling thing was what Gabby mentioned, the fact that he faced two different fullbacks. James Justin got hurt probably in like the 15th or 20th minute of that game. Then he struggled on for like another 20 minutes before he had to get subbed off. And in that time, Raheem had chances to go at him and still couldn't beat an injured man. Like, you were playing against a half-dead fullback and you couldn't beat him. That's crazy. Well, overall, that first half was mostly a disaster because, for me, the main thing was the tempo. And I suppose it's the sort of thing that can happen when a team has had 10 days off, has traveled, hasn't had a competitive game, maybe a little bit of rust. Second half started much better. And I want to give the credit to Martin Odegaard. I thought, while there wasn't anything in the way of GA, the stuff we expect near the dangerous areas of the pitch, he wasn't making the passes that we wanted to make, but all of a sudden, a quality that he doesn't really display that often, Coach, his carrying came to the fore in that second half. Was that like a deliberate thing? Was that, do you think that was directed from the manager? Like, what do you think happened? Because I was like, the Norwegian is fucking running. What the fuck am I seeing here? It was great.
I'm going to speculate here and say that he might have needed Dubai more than anybody else. Because this is him carrying the ball as the Odegaard we've seen at his best while he's been at Arsenal. Like, Odegaard attracting players and then popping it off to the danger men. Even if it's not a direct chance created, it's going to lead to something. And the amount of time he did that in that second half and it led to something quite promising. It's always a good indicator of when a player is executing like high level technical feats, basically. That's underpinned by physical sort of exertion as well, and you're doing it repeatedly. It kind of gives me it lets me, I suppose, forecast that potentially he could be coming into some genuinely good form. We saw it with Declan Rice. Declan Rice making all those tackles a couple months ago, and then now all of a sudden, like he's playing in every position in midfield. He's covering the ground. He said it last week that he feels like he's at full fitness now. Maybe we're getting that from Odegaard now. Like, I'm going to be positive and I hope that's the case. He was really good the second half. Like, potentially a man in the match in that second half, if not for a Nigerian.
Yeah, I mean, I'm especially willing to give him extra credit for what he did in that second half because of the midfield he was going against. This is not the best midfield in the league by any means. Matter of fact, they're one of the worst midfields, but this is an AFCON midfield. They have legs. Indeed, he can run. Soumare can run. And Odegaard was pulling away from these guys.
Yeah.
And I thought the running became even more impactful after we'd removed Sterling and brought Merino in to sort of serve as that backboard, And I don't know if Gabby, do you remember if Merino and Odegaard played together at Sociedad back in the day? Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. So that's a connection we should be looking to take advantage of moving forward, because we don't have a lot of time to be, on the training pitch to get people to know each other. So if they already know each other, it looked good. Ethan, he had a pretty good first half. He was probably the standout character in the first half for us, even though we didn't say much about what he did, because there just wasn't much in general. But I thought next to Odegaard, essentially the connection between them, Gabby, is what I thought gave me hope that we were going to get something out of this game. What did you make of his second half performance?
I thought Ethan was good the whole entire game, but especially the second half. I mean, granted, he got GA out of it, so of course that you put your points on the board, but everything that he was doing, he was so decisive, and I think that's something that I talk about a lot in this team. I feel like sometimes we push the onus on someone else, specifically Odegaard, to get everything done. And I feel like you need to share the burden. And Ethan never felt like he was shying away from the ball. He never feels like that when he plays ever, but specifically in this game when we needed somebody to do something, he constantly demanding the ball, driving at his man, putting crosses into the box, trying to get a shot off, linking up with Odegaard. I was like, yeah, this guy is ready. He's so ready to play. And it's kind of a shame almost that he's behind one of the best wingers in the world. Because I would love to see him more, but he's just so good. He's so good. And that ball to Moreno in that second half, that was a lovely cross.
Yeah.
Yep.
He takes it, it gets the ball from Timber, who fakes a shot, takes a touch to set himself and puts it right in. Doesn't try to dribble or fake something. Just put the ball into the box. Put the fries in the bag. Just put the ball into the box. I felt like that whole first half, I felt like we weren't getting enough shots off. It was almost, I know the stat line at the end was we got 5 shots or something like that, or maybe more. 0 on target until we scored. But it just felt like we weren't shooting as often as we should be shooting with this horrendous backline that we're shooting against. I just feel like Leicester are so terrible at the back. You should be shooting at those guys. You absolutely should be not second guessing yourself. And I feel like everybody in that front line was second guessing themselves except Ethan. And when he put that ball into the box, I was like, you got your just rewards, because you deserve to have scored in this game. You hit I was thinking there was a goalkeeper, what's it called, fingertip save that he had that tips it onto the post, and then he hits the post again, the bar again, and I was like, he has to get something from this game. We must.
Yeah, do you know what? That's actually a good segue, because Dean, you saw in the group chat what I said.
No. What did you say?
I said, I literally, as I was typing, I said, the next Ethan Nwaneri shot is probably going to be a goal.
Yeah, you did say that.
Literally, I was like, the next one's going to be a goal. But as I'm typing that, he's putting the ball into the box for Merino to score. And I was like, yeah, it's almost like a lethal shooter shit. It's like, yeah, I understand it now. I found my range. So this is the next shit I'm going to do, and it's going to go in this time.
Oh, man. I will kill you when I come to London, my friend. Keep taking these shots.
No, for the boy is a incredibly rare talent. There is a huge level of quality in the youth game. It is so scary. It's gotten better, I'd say, since the days of RLC and Lewis Baker. I don't know. He should be England captain by now, but he's not for a reason. But yeah, Lewis Baker, RLC, Shalanke, all of those boys there. That Chelsea team, along with some of the youth players that were at Arsenal as well at the time, a little bit before then, Gnabry was men against boys in the under 21s for so long. He was the best player in the country in his age group.
And then we sent him to West Brom to die under Pulis.
It's just circumstances there. But Nwaneri, to me, sits on that table with those guys and probably support. He's better than pretty much all of them at that age. No word of a lie. And I saw Gnabry heavy. Gnabry was people were bouncing off him like from the halfway line every match day. He was carrying the ball past 3-4 guys, and Waneri can't even play in that age group anymore because he's just too good, and he's doing this to grown men, seasoned internationals. And for him to come through all of that, and he didn't take any time to bed in. He was good from day one. He was just good from day one. Like there's something special there of that boy, and I can't speak highly enough of him. We have to cherish him. We have to enjoy him. We have to, give him all of his props because he's currently right now our best attacker, and that's no slight on Trossard.
Yeah, it's crazy. One of the chances, I think the one that the goalkeeper tipped onto the post, he hit that with his weak foot.
Yeah.
Like it was taking, and it's not a comparison, and I'm not stealing any joy from anyone because I'm loving all my Nigerian boys in the Arsenal attack. But it took Saka a while to start doing that. Ethan, to be fair, he looks like it could be Saka's dad. But, but the fact that he's already doing that before, he hasn't been in the team 6 months, and he's already attempting to score on his weak foot away from home. Like that was insane to me, and that deserved a goal. And I could tell, probably my favorite thing about the game is that I could tell, maybe I'm just projecting here. After the game, I got the sense when the camera lingered on him that he was just mad that he didn't score. It was nice that he got an assist, but I could tell in his heart he was like, I should have bagged. So that's always lovely. That said, before Ethan or anyone else were able to provide the impact that got us the points in this game, the other Haylander on the field today, Lewis-Skelly, had a back post goal, essentially a goal line clearance, you would call it, because
oh my God,
Bobby Cordova-Reid was right there for the tapping into the empty net after we lost the ball in midfield.
Another Jamaican man who didn't show up, thank God.
But yeah, we have to mention that moment because if the ball goes in there, given the conditions, given the energy, even though we didn't increase the tempo in the second half to that point, I think we probably are in trouble if we concede a goal today. If Leicester have something to hold on to, I'm not sure we can. Maybe we salvage a point because they're a very bad team, but it would have been horrendous. I think heads would have dropped. So credit to Lewis-Skelly there. That said, Gabby, when Merino came on, the game definitely changed. What did you like most about our auxiliary striker's contribution? Is he better than Haaland or just as good as Haaland? And if the answer is not yes, which it is he better than OG Ronaldo? Go.
I can't give him the OG Ronaldo one, but okay. I do love that picture. That needs to be that needs to be the icon for this pod. He's more handsome than Paul, and that's really what matters.
Well, there you go. They're calling him a Giroud regen because after the game, he admitted to the interviewer that he forgot to get his wife a Valentine's Day gift, and he's dedicating the goals to her. Giroud just straight up cheated on his wife. So maybe that, my analogy is all messed up. My bad. Sorry, guys. But coach, I for my own edification and because I'm a bougie fake tactics nerd, I'm thinking of Merino on the pitch as like a double 10 thing as opposed to him playing as a 9. But in truth, he kind of played as a 9, didn't he?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff he did while he was on the pitch was all instinctual 9 shit. And he said after the game that Arteta asked him to just play to his strengths, and obviously play to your strengths, but within certain zones. Like we don't need him in midfield. Like there's Declan Rice there, so we don't need him to drop back in. So do all of your pressing and your dual winning shit and your aerial prowess and your movement shit just in the final zone. You know what I'm saying?
Excuse me, coach. That is what I really noticed. Yeah. That is what I really noticed. When he came on, our press improved instantly. It was night and day because God bless Trossard, but his legs are like the size of Raheem Sterling's braids. Like it's not a very powerful press with those guys in the front line there. So that was an instant improvement. Yeah. But as a 9, okay, if you're rating his performance as a 9 out of 10, what are you giving him?
10. If you're a striker and you score 1 goal, you're automatically an 8. If you score 2, bro, you can't be 10 because he didn't score 3, but we'll give him a 9.5. We'll give him a 9.5.
We'll give him a 9.8.
Yeah,
give him a little bit.
And the thing is, though, he actually had a chance for his hat trick. He just hit it against the goalkeeper from the edge of the box. So, yeah, like all the things you want from your 9, you make yourself available in the box, you occupy your defenders, and you get chances. You actually make yourself available for chances as well, kind of thing. And then on top of that, you take your chances. Like he basically had the most, I want to say, it was maybe his 5th or 6th touch that he scored with. He didn't do much before the goal, apart from Preston really well. And I think just from a tactics perspective, while he's not going to give the same things as Kai Havertz, he may allow us to play as if we do have him, if that makes sense. You know how like on a MacBook, you can partition it so you have a window, you can run Windows on it kind of thing. It's almost kind of the shit that we're doing.
This fucking nerd. Please, like, we're not here for that. MacBook. First off, there's tariffs in America. We can't afford MacBooks anymore. So stop that shit. Cut that shit out right away. And second, we're not nerds, bro. Stop it. Go back to the anime shit you'd be talking about. Like, come on, man.
Gabby knows what I'm talking about at least, right? So I hope so.
If you say so. I was going to add on Moreno, though. Like, he did the one thing that I get very frustrated in with Jesus. Not to hit Jesus when he's down. But he stayed in the box. Stay in the box. Like, I don't want to see you coming out of the box, going to the wings, drifting everywhere. So when we actually create the chance and we need our striker to score, you're nowhere to be found because you're somewhere else. Just stay in the box and let somebody else be the creator. That's what I wanted him to do. And because he's the auxiliary striker now, this is obviously not his role. He's never played. He's played more as a center back than he has as a striker in his career, which is crazy. For him to score 2 goals from those touches, I said, yeah. I'll take it.
Oh yeah. I mean, go on, coach.
I was just gonna say finally on him. There's still a lot more to come from us for this season in regards to him playing there, because there's gonna be times where he probably will mid-game, like we'll probably swap out between him and Declan Rice. Like, I literally see that happening, where he'll have to drop into midfield for whatever reason, kind of thing, for 5-10 minutes, and Declan Rice will be our focal point up front. And while Rice isn't going to be as silky on the ball as, you know, other centre forwards, he's going to provide stuff that's going to allow potentially for Merino to even crash the box himself as well. It's frustrating that we don't have recognised centre forwards fit right now, but at the same time, I'm taking the approach of Arteta. I generally feel like it's a good challenge. It's exciting, like, for us to see what we can.
You're such a sicko.
Yeah, it's what it is, man. Like, you know, we're not allowed to enjoy shit as football fans anymore. So I'm trying to find joy in something, you know. So yeah.
And honestly, I said this a couple of weeks ago, maybe months ago at this point, but for me, regardless of what happens at the end of the season, this has been the most impressive coaching job of Arteta's reign at Arsenal.
Yeah,
I think the way he has juggled these injuries and absences and red card situations, and we're still in it. You know, odds are the numbers are against us, but we're still in it. And honestly, I don't think we have any business still being in the competitions we're in, to be honest, given everything that's happened. We've kind of talked about it together, but I wanted to ask you, Gabby, which one of the Merino goals did you like more?
The second one. It's not even close.
Why
the second one. Shout out to Ethan for the first goal, but like that second one, I get so pissed off at this team for not scoring in transitions. I saw a graph yesterday from your favorite hater. Jessica sent it to me. And it was about we always talk about our pressing structure, how good our pressing is. We get a lot of turnovers, but the turnovers to shots are almost non-existent. The graph goes so low from that. Yeah. And the goals are even lower because every shooting less, you're scoring less. Because I was like,
because our playmaker is a Santan condom. That's why. That's why.
Don't be a hater for 1 second.
Yeah.
I was like,
no, go on.
Sir, was I finished? You trying to cut me off for Black History Month?
You say June Black History Month like
Black women just take the lead.
Am I white? I don't understand.
You guys are making it look like I'm bad at my job. Please behave. Let the teacher run the class. Gabby, finish your point. Then, coach, you can come in after her.
But after that, the only other thing that I complain about is our goals during transitions. I think we mess up transitions way too much and we leave goals on the table. For the amount of times we either clear the ball and actually get people forward and then don't get a shot off or don't score, or pressure them into getting a turnover. I was like, the fact that we got the ball out of our own box all the way from there, although Odegaard is in between like 3 or 4 people and squeezes the ball to Calafiori. Calafiori marauds forward just like he does, Italian stallion, gets the ball, waits for Trossard to come back onside because he was offside, gets the ball back to him, and then Trossard gets the cross away with nobody else in the box other than Merino. That's it, just him and Merino. And it was such a good finish. That was 100% one of our best goals in a while.
Yeah.
It was such good attacking play.
I think the finish more than anything.
Now you can go.
I was gonna say, I think the finish more than anything was what impressed me. He took that like a season number 9. Like, had Haaland scored that, you wouldn't even blink your eye. You're like, yeah, that's what Haaland does. You know, it was such a good finish. But I think for me, my favorite part of the build-up was Calafiori's second touch. The first touch where he gets it out of his feet, but the second touch to take it in field, the angle that creates basically for Trossard to basically bend back his run, but it draws 2 players into him. We talk about central access all the time, kind of thing, and people are right. We need to do that for sure. You know, we need to be better at it. But that kind of game awareness, where you know that there was tons of space for him to run into the wing, but if I drive through the middle of the pitch like this, somebody has to come. He's probably thinking, raw, 2 people come to me, wonderful. Like, that's even better. We know what Trossard is 1v1 versus fullbacks right now. He's cooking everything and he's getting his ball into the box. So the whole point of that, you know, he understands his play. Like, Calafiori clearly understands who he's playing with, kind of thing, which again is a huge positive. But it was just a genuine game awareness, and the touches weren't sloppy. They were all crisp. They were all timed to perfection. Like, I just really appreciated that part of the goal. It was fantastic. But to finish up on the high turnover shit, put it like this: I would love us to do more in that regard and score, but we have to know who we're playing with in terms of our players and our attackers. We're not playing with swashbucklers in general, even with Saka, kind of thing. Like, Saka can create for himself on the counter. He can create for himself versus a deep or mid block, all that kind of thing. But the way Arsenal want to play in general, when it comes to the coach and the type of players we have, us creating a high turnover, if it's not in their box kind of thing, and we're not going for the kill, I'm not too mad at it. Only because I know I've seen how Arsenal create, 100 goals in a season, and we're not doing it playing in a way that's similar to Liverpool, for example. We do it our way. Like, the moment our attacking personnel changes and it leans more into that, and we're still doing that bullshit, fair enough. But until then, like, I'm personally not too mad at it. So
I'm sorry, I'm looking at Dean. Look dead in the eyes and he looked like he was looking at the rest of the season like, damn, we really still have a rest of the season to play.
Low key, you read my mind.
Get me to May 25th.
Because I'm thinking to myself, because what we're about to do next, because there's not that much else to discuss in this game. I wanted to give Jorginho credit for taking a yellow card. At one point in that second half, that was a big, because I think it was Fatawu, was it?
Mavidi, ex-Haaland.
Steph Mavidi. Ex-Arsenal, right? Haaland boy. Yeah, about to ruin our day. Jorginho took a good card. And that was from yet another foul on Trossard that didn't get called, but whatever. But shout out Jorginho for that, which allowed us to go on and get that second goal. But otherwise, this was, I think the last 20 minutes of this game is the model of what I think we need to do going forward until we get figured out. Then we change, or we have to counter people by bringing Sterling off the bench late in games until the actual, forwards come back. And Martinelli first, I think, then maybe Saka afterwards. And hopefully we're not rushing either one of them back, because hamstrings.
Mikel, please.
Yeah.
Don't worry alone. Like, I really, at this point, if it's between Saka's health and the title, I'll just wait until next year. Honestly,
Agreed.
Do not mess this boy up. That's my own. Yeah. Just save him. That scar scared the shit out of everyone else. I got scars, so I'm not really worried about that. But that should look gnarly, so he's been through it. That said, what level of confidence do we have? Our next game is against West Ham. We're hosting West Ham. That is probably a more physical team than Leicester, who are not shrinking violets themselves. But do we think this approach is sustainable? And how soon do you think other teams will figure it out and basically force us to do something else?
I touched on it earlier. I think we go from it with Merino from the start next week. We have to. So Go for Merino from the start and try and win the game with what we have. The one thing I will say is that Graham Potter is not going to come to sit in, which is good. That'll be fun. Emerson is their left back. I back Nwaneri against him all day fucking long, man.
Bro, I don't know about Graham Potter anymore, man. Like back when I could predict what that nigga did, he didn't have a beard, he didn't wear turtlenecks. He was a tracksuit coach. Now he's different. He got that Chelsea money. He got his teeth fixed and shit. Nigga might be moving different and shit, man. I don't know, man. I don't know, but yeah, it's hard not to be. I mean, I gotta say, I'm ecstatic about this result. Like it's crazy because
smash and grab.
It's sort of like a bare minimum expectation. And we're at Leicester this season, but given the conditions and the news and how bad the mood has been around the club in the past couple of weeks, this is a really good solve, and I'm very pleased that it happened for us. Gabby, I would like you to pick a man of the match before we get out of here.
Man of the match. It's definitely Ethan. It has to be Ethan. I know Moreno scored his goals, and they were very good goals. But it's Ethan because from minute 1 to minute 90 or 94, since we got stoppage time, he was consistent. Like, and I hope he stays consistent for the rest of the season. That's what I want to see from him. Even if you don't get any GA, like, because my complaint about Trossard is always he gets GA, but he's never consistent. Even if you don't get GA, just stay consistent and try to affect the game. And I feel like he's doing that in every game that he plays. So I'm actually really excited to see him for the rest of the season. Yeah, my man of the match for sure.
Good shot. Coach, anything else before we get out of here?
No, it was a good result. And it put it like this result feels huge. How many games we won in a row now since the Villa draw? Is it 2? I think it's 2. No, it's 3. Wolves. It was Wolves, City, and then
Didn't we win that Wolves game?
Yeah, so I'm saying it was Wolves, City.
Oh, okay.
And then today. So
and you know what's crazy about that? Now that I think about it, the worst of those teams was City.
Yeah. Oh, facts.
That is insane.
I'm just gonna double check, guys. I have to because we haven't won more than 3 games in a row yet this season. So let's fucking change that against West Ham and let's go for it. Let's get another win.
Yeah, this is definitely if anything is gonna happen as far as winning or competing for this league or being able to go to Anfield with the pressure on Liverpool to maybe get something out of this season, this is the period where we have to make the difference because Liverpool actually have a fairly tough schedule over the next 5 games. They have a bunch of games packed in and they might drop some points. And if we can just terrorist ball our way to points, make a run, we might be there when it's time for Anfield. And I back us against Liverpool. I back us against them.
I do as well. Yeah, so literally it was we drew against Villa and then it was Wolves, then we smashed City, and then we won today. So yeah, guys, let's go for 4 in a row and then we go again.
All right, Gabby, anything else for these people?
Peace. That's it. Peace. Let's get out of here. Smash and grab.
Get out of here. Smash and grab. Peace, y'all. Hey, folks, this is Deen from the Shirtless Plantain Show. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and follow us on all our socials. You can see them right beneath our recordings in every video. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.